All right, we live. YouTube, what's going on? Everybody in the building. Appreciate y'all for being here. This is no different than any other call. We just gonna keep turning up the notches every single week. This is Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 107. All right, right out the gate, we ain't gonna play no games. I'm coming in guns blazing. I'm gonna show you guys exactly why being a part of Skyton Academy matters, right? Because right here, we don't just watch the news. We find the data, we analyze it, we break it down, and we make it super easy for everybody to understand. That's one of our big accolades when it comes to Skyton Academy. And then outside of that, we spot the opportunity before the rest of the world catches on to it. So last night, and Steve, I want to give you your flowers while the recording is on. You absolutely smoked that call. So when you watch this replay, I hope you feel your cup is filled. You know what I mean? Because you killed that, right? Now, on a members only live call back in July, it was July 8th to be exact. Um, During that members only live call, and this is for Skyton Academy members only, right? So if you're a part of Skyton Academy, you have a membership. We have live calls every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then the next day, which is Wednesday, we have Dot Connect Wednesdays. So during a Tuesday call, July 8th, I gave everybody two plays that call. I was feeling generous that day. And it wasn't just because I just wanted to do it. I seen the opportunity miles ahead. I gave everybody the crow play, right? CRO. This is Cronos. At the time, the price of the coin was 9 cents to be exact. I'm gonna give you guys particulars. It was 0.09732, right? In that moment, when I gave you guys the play, the information behind that, and you guys can go watch that replay if you're a member. If you're not, you definitely need to join Skyton Academy today. SkytonAcademy.com is $50 a month. You can enroll, and then you'll have access to all the replays. Now, if everybody would have put in $1,000 that day, right? Fast forward to today's price, we're at 27,992. It may have fluctuated because it's been up and down all day, but let's just say that's the highest that I seen it at today. It's 27 cents, almost 28 cents. That investment would have led to you having $2,876 to be exact, off of $1,000 investment. That's nearly $1,900 in profit in less than 60 days. That's 180% gains in less than 2 months. If you put in 500, that would have gave you 1438. So you would have been sitting on about $940 of profit. And even if you put in $100, that would have gave you $288. So you would have made $188 in profit. This is why timing and information matters. This is why it pays to listen. This is why it truly pays to execute when you get information like this, right? Everybody who tapped in, who was paying attention, heard the information. They heard that they were putting together an S1 and they had just submitted it the day of the call, right? So as soon as I seen that information, I knew that this thing was going to take off, right? We never give financial advice. We just tell you guys when we spot opportunities, we give you guys the alley oop. It's up to you to execute, right? We spot things early while everybody else is still asleep and they waiting for headlines. They're waiting to be told what to do. We giving you guys the plays early in the game. All right. So I'm gonna break this down. Today there was more news that just compounded for that crow play. So it's not over. I don't want anybody to think, all right, just because it moved up today, rush in, take your profits. You can do whatever it is you want to do, but when you get this information, you're probably gonna want to keep it in. All right. Now, here's the key. So in the last 2 days alone, Crow is up 25%. And there's big news that came out today that confirms why Crow is actually in the spotlight and why Crow made this uptick. So yesterday, actually, the 26th, Trump Media and Technology Group, Crypto.com, and this acquisition company called Yorkville, they announced that they're creating what's called Trump Media Group Crow Strategy Incorporated. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. Trump Media Group, MicroStrategy Incorporated. This is going to be a digital asset treasury company dedicated to doing one thing: accumulating CRO. That's the native token of the Cronos blockchain. So you got proven demand driving utility. Hello, I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown in plain English. Right now, what they're doing is they're funding this Trump Media Group Strategy Incorporated, right? They're gonna fund it with $1 billion worth of CRO. That's $6.4 billion in tokens, right? Which is nearly 1/5 of the entire CRO supply. On top of that, they're taking 200 million in cash and another 200 million in warrants. And then they've got a $5 billion line of credit ready to buy even more CRO on top of that. Now, there's a ticker that's associated with this for those of you who play in that stock realm. Um, it's called M as in Mike, C as in Charlie, G as in Golf, A is in Alpha. MCGA on the NASDAQ, right? It's called Make Cronos Great Again. This makes it the largest CRO treasury company in history. And it's going to be one of the largest crypto treasuries compared to the market cap of the token that it holds. So there's a strategy behind this. They aren't just holding CRO in a cold wallet. They've got a plan, right? So now I'm giving you guys context. They're going to allocate most of the cash reserves that they have into buying CRO. They're going to run a validator node on the Cronos blockchain, which means that they're going to actually participate in governance and they're going to help secure the network. So not only are they heavily invested in the network itself, they want to ensure that it's running properly. So they're going to be a part of rules, voting, etc. Right? And they're also going to help secure the network. That's the key, right? They're also going to collect staking rewards from that validator node that they run, and they're going to reinvest all of the staking rewards that they get to compound CRO holdings over time. So this is not a short-term flip. This is not just a get in, get out. This is a long-term accumulation strategy backed by billions of dollars. And when I came across this article, it made me think. I'm like, why Cronos of all things, right? Now, for those of you who don't know, you can do your own research. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but Cronos is built for speed, low cost, and interoperability. That I word I always use all the time. Interoperability is basically connecting seamlessly with other blockchains to be able to do transactions, right? It's already powering DeFi, which is decentralized finance, various marketplaces, payments, and tokenization. You know, we've been talking about tokenization for the longest now, but now things are really starting to heat up. So I want you guys to understand, not only is this a big trend in the cryptocurrency space right now, they're on a big push to make everything of value tokenized. They're going to put it on a blockchain. Once they put it on blockchain, you have to remember that there's multiple blockchains that exist. So you need interoperability to be able to transact on different platforms. Cronos blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, XRP ledger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get where I'm going? Interoperability just means that the industry is basically creating highways that will get you from one place to another super easy, seamlessly, cheap, affordably, and it's going to increase the efficiency and use of cryptocurrency. Now, these banks, these governments, these institutions, what they're going to start doing is they're going to start taking their products, putting them on blockchains, tokenizing everything. Steve talked about tokenizing water yesterday. So, this is why I'm so excited about the whole tokenization aspect of this. I'd never seen Cronos going this far, right? Being a part of this. So I'm going to tell you guys truly why it matters, right? All of this stuff is tied to Cronos. So Cronos is tied to crypto.com. Cronos has direct integration with the United States financial system through payment rails and partnerships. Crow is literally the fuel for this ecosystem. So they're going to use it for utility, governance, and now it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar treasury. I can easily see this thing going to trillions of dollars. So when you look at this, right, it's an exchange token. It's a cryptocurrency exchange token. If you have a big player, right, this is Trump and this is Trump Media. If you have these guys lining up buying billions of dollars, creating a strategy to continuously accumulate over time more crow. What do you think this means for you, the retail investor? What is it that you guys think you should be doing? Drop it in the chat. I just want to see if y'all paying attention. YouTube, y'all chime in the chat as well. If you're following the money, you're following the strategy, they're giving you context. What do you think you should be doing? Absolutely. And the consensus is buying crow, buying more. This is not financial advice. This is for educational and informational purposes only. But I'm telling you guys, BNB just hit a new all-time high. Exchange tokens are what people need because every single exchange is going to have different product offerings on it. When you have a exchange token right now that's operating at 27 cents, the only thing that you're looking for, people with vision, you're paying attention to the traffic, the demand that's being built up that's going to go to these exchanges. So when it goes to these exchanges, who's already properly positioned? Everybody that's been on these calls, everybody that's a part of Skyton Academy. And it's because you guys are executing on what you know. Now, this move is literally the playbook, right? We've seen this before. MicroStrategy, they're doing this since 2020. They've been doing this with Bitcoin, right? And their stock became basically a proxy for Bitcoin. Now, Trump Media is doing the same thing, but he's doing it with Crow. And at this time, they're locking down nearly 20% of the entire supply. That's one-fifth of the supply. That's unprecedented, right? That's uncommon. So what are the opportunities for retail investors is the first thing that comes to my mind. One, of course, it's obvious. Crow is going to be the play. Again, not financial advice. This is a billion-dollar treasury company just building all around Crow. They don't do this unless they see long-term value. For retail, stacking Crow and retail, for those of you who do not know, that's each and every single one of you guys. That means you guys need to be stacking your Crow while it's under the mainstream radar and it could possibly see a huge upside. So this 27-cent move, this 180% that happened in the last 60 days, this is not over with. The reason being is because you just got this news and the S1 hasn't been approved yet. We're now in that range of the 72 days from the time I released that news on that members only call. That was July 8th. You now have up to about 240 days. That's the normal time frame that they give people to have their S1 approved. When that S1 approved, that means that that ETF is live. It's official, right? So I'm telling you guys, and I'm giving you guys this gem early in the game. If you weren't a part, if you weren't a member, you're welcome. Right now, you're getting this love, right? You're paying a higher premium, but this is why you're supposed to be a part of Skyton Academy. You're supposed to have a membership. It's no excuses. I gave that play out when it was 9 pennies. It's almost 28 cents right now. And I expect this price to continue to climb in the short term, not financial advice. This is what happens when you listen and when you act, when somebody is telling you something with conviction and they're giving you verifiable information that you can take and verify on your own. Never ever take me and Steve's word for it. Take the info and actually go make it happen. All right. But this is huge. They're locking down a fifth of the supply, running validators, compounding nodes, compounding the rewards, and they're putting billions behind this strategy. Companies don't just do that off a whim, off a gamble. All right. So here we are again, ahead of the curve. All right. Now, I came across some more news. Um, Crow. For those of you in the chat asking again, CRO. Cronos is the name of the ticker, right? CRO. Now, and you can buy that right on crypto.com. It's the exchange token. So you can create an account on crypto.com. Boom, make your purchase, of course, do your security things and your parameters and set up your KYC and all that good stuff. Do what you need to do, make your purchase, secure it, put it on the cold storage wallet. All right. Now I'm gonna play you guys a video. Give me 1 second. Yes. All right, Steve, do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna play this clip for you guys, and then we'll talk about it right after. All right. Two more things. The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it. Two more things. The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain. So I played it twice so that everybody had context. Now, that who you were just listening to was the U.S. Treasury, no, U.S. Commerce Secretary. His name is Howard Lutnick, right? That announcement was done during a White House cabinet meeting. He revealed, just as you guys heard, I came with the receipts. You heard it out of his own mouth. The U.S. Department of Commerce is going to begin publishing economic data, starting with the GDP on the blockchain. Now, he highlighted, he gave him his flowers in real time, but he highlighted something. Outside of them putting this data on the blockchain, he said, "You're the crypto president." Always remember that. This is going to help influence and secure everything that you do going forward in cryptocurrency. You have now a crypto president. So people trying to play 1 foot in, 1 foot out, playing yourself. This is not the time to do so. Stay locked in, stay fully immersed, and cut out the distractions because everything that this guy does is going to be crypto and artificial intelligence based. He's got big players that's supporting him. He's brought in a bunch of tech guys. I'm not telling you guys everything that these guys do is right. I'm not telling you that whatsoever. I'm just telling you if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you have to pay close attention when these guys speak because they're giving out signals, they're giving out plays. All right. Now, the reason I even wanted to talk about this, and I'm not going to be super long-winded with this one, but understand this is the first time that the US government had an agency that was fully committed to recording core figures like the GDP on a blockchain. This has never happened before, ever. So this is major. All right. Now, here's what all of this actually means in simplified terms. Instead of them posting these numbers through like random PDFs like they always do on the government websites, these databases, things like BEA.gov or the Commerce Department websites, things like that. These guys now want to publish key economic statistics directly on the blockchain. Now, where the blockchain is going to be, which blockchain that they're selecting, we don't know yet. Right now, that's still kind of up in the air. They haven't fine-tuned and kind of put that information out yet. But this was hot off the press. Now, the biggest thing behind this is you're watching the world now conform to the same technology that we've been telling you guys about for years now. Before we even created Skyton Academy, Steve and I both was telling people about the technology, about these cryptocurrency projects, what problems they solve. The reason Bitcoin is what it is today is really not because of what Bitcoin does, because it truly doesn't do anything, right? It has technology behind it, which is called blockchain technology. It's the ability to record things and put things on a blockchain where everybody can view it. It becomes quote unquote permanent, time stamped, and it's tamper resistant or AKA immutable. All right. So when they start to do this, well, let me start here. If they're going to start with the GDP, that's the gross domestic product, that's the primary measure of how strong or weak the US economy is. And they're going to put this information up, right? Now, they could later expand into other stats, unemployment, inflation, trade, tariffs, etc. Right? All things can end up on a blockchain, even down to voting. Now, what Lutnick admitted during that call, he basically said, listen, all the details aren't here. We're working things out right now. So it's not clear what blockchain that they're going to use, how they're going to verify the data, or what governance or security measures are actually going to be in place. But his words was, we're ironing out the details. Now, at first glance, it looks like this is a step forward for transparency. This is the biggest thing that we've always needed when it came to anything of value in the world, especially here in the United States. There's so much corruption that we start to find out, especially when one president leaves office and another one comes in. It's almost like they're hell bent on revealing what the last person did, right? And rightfully so. We, the people, need to know because it impacts us in various shapes, forms, and fashions, right? Now, with blockchain, the strength and the biggest strength in blockchain is immutability, meaning once something is put there, it truly can't be changed, right? Without everyone seeing it. This makes it so much harder for someone to secretly change, alter, manipulate the numbers after the fact. But here's the truth. Blockchain can protect the data itself and how that data is stored. It just can't guarantee that the data itself is accurate in the first place. So when I came across this, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm like, yes, we're making big strides, progressive strides in the future of finance. We're taking these old systems that we all use, that we're all familiar with, and we're modernizing them. We're updating them, right? Bringing them up to speed. That's the biggest thing, right? So I always use this example when it comes time to pay for something. You want your money now or you want it tomorrow. 99.9% of the people are going to say, I want it now. I want my money instantly, right? So when it comes to data, it's the same thing. When it comes to information, it's the same thing. Everything has to flow at the speed of light. Everything has to be as efficient as sending a text message rapidly, right? And then now you have to figure out what blockchain is going to be, what is going to be the cost, what things are in place that's going to safeguard the information that we all are going to be looking at and seeing. We do it now. There's people who trade stocks. You need the CPI data to be able to know, hey, is the market being greedy right now? Are they fearful? Are they scared? Should I put a short in? Should I put a long in, etc. Right? So these metrics are really, really important. But the biggest question is always to me, right? Because I'm a data buff. Who's making sure that these numbers are legit? So when it comes to everything being put on the blockchain, who is going to verify the verifiers? Who is going to be that buffer between where the information currently is and where it's going to ultimately end up? And are there parameters in place that keep people from being able to manipulate it in any way before it makes it on the blockchain? And then it's up to us to just maintain visibility, which is great for blockchain technology. So even though this is great news, what I want you guys to always do is question the information, right? Because a lot of stuff you'll hear all the time, people will say, this information is biased. When these reports come out, they'll say, it's rigged. And Trump is good at that. He always will say stuff like that. Oh, yeah, the economy looks great. Things look wonderful. But to the people, we might be feeling a different way. We have a different sentiment. But he may be seeing something and he's sounding the alarm, rightfully so, right? We don't know, but that's just one of those things where you always have to be conscious of, right? You have to pay attention to these things because these numbers always tell you a story. And if you're following these numbers give you a competitive advantage of your next move when you're trading, when you're scalping, when you're doing whatever. All right. And this is your hard-earned money. So putting all these economic numbers and stuff like that on a blockchain, this is cool. I love it. It is a step forward. It's in the right place. But those critical questions kind of sit with me, and I hope they sit with you guys too. And if they don't, I want you guys to really start to hone in, question things. I used to have the biggest problem with that. Steve always tells me all the time, don't just take the information that when me and him have dealings, he may tell me something, But and I'm super inquisitive, but sometimes I trust him as a source, right? I trust him, the person. But when it comes to data, when it comes to information being disseminated, you don't know who bought the data. You don't know who gave you the data, right? You have to verify it. You have to ask certain questions that will tell you the answer, and they always reveal the story. All right. So, one thing that I want you guys to do is always question. Now, the second thing is you have to pay attention because this is a much larger global trend that's happening right now. Now, this is the first time that has happened here in the United States, right? Where we had something like this happen. Outside of in 2024, when California did the digitized 42 million car titles on Avalanche blockchain to prevent fraud and speed up the transfers and things like that. You had in 2016, you had the country of Estonia. They used what's called guard times KSI blockchain, and that protected over 1 million healthcare records. You did in 2018, you had the European blockchain services infrastructure. I think it's called the EBSI. They launched to deliver decentralized cross-border government services. So this is not the first of its kind. This is just the first time that this has happened here in the United States. So yes, blockchain has real world benefits. But in this case, dealing with national economic numbers, extreme scrutiny is the key takeaway here. Because when the government controls the data in a platform that locks it in forever, you always have to ask who's fact checking the fact checkers. All right. Now, a couple days ago, there was something that came out from the CFTC. The CFTC is it's one of the America's top financial regulators outside of the SEC, right? They just launched something called the Crypto Sprint Initiative. Now, what does this mean in simple terms? It means that the United States government is no longer dragging their feet on crypto. Instead of a whole bunch of slow studies and endless debates in Congress wasting everybody's time, they're officially saying it's go time. We're moving fast. We're building frameworks right now. And by the end of the year, we're going to start having a bunch of them show up. We just had the Genius Act. We had the Big Beautiful Bill. We had the anti-CBDC. There was a couple things that was all in play, right? But now we're formally not waiting on anyone else. So this crypto sprint initiative comes directly in line with Trump's digital asset agenda. I told you guys his number one mission and goal was to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. Right now, the acting chair, her name is Caroline Pham, Pham. All right, Caroline Pham. She was 100% clear. She has ties with Ripple. She's met with Brad Garlinghouse on a multitude of occasions. She is one of those people you need to pay attention to when she speaks. She is very well spoken. She's articulate. She's familiar with the industry as a whole, and she gives cues and a whole bunch of alley oops, if you will. Basically, what they're saying is they're going to have clearer rules for crypto companies, no more leading through enforcement. The CFTC doesn't move like that. Right now, there's a lot of startups in cryptocurrency that we need, but they don't know what's legal and what isn't. It's just too much uncertainty, and that's what slows down innovation. That's what felt like the war. That's what created Choke Point 2.0, right? Where companies had great ideas, they had great products, but they couldn't really formally bring them to market the way they wanted to because every single time they would do so, the SEC would just say, hey, oh, we like what you're doing. Come in, let's have a conversation. And as soon as they come into the SEC's office for the meeting, boom, they slap them with a lawsuit. It was war. But now that war is over, now that we formally have a pro crypto president, as you heard them say it. It held weight when we said it, but now you guys can see that was the Commerce Secretary saying this. It's no longer a question. This is official now. All right. The next thing they're sprinting towards is going to be modernizing oversight for the industry as a whole. They're looking at things like 24/7 trading, decentralized finance, which is DeFi. You're going to have institutional DeFi, which is going to be even crazier because now you have big players, big capital that's going to be using these products and things that are for the future, and it's going to get rid of those old antiquated products that banks used to have, right? Things are changing and rapidly. And then now they're also going to be working on, I guess, a focus, if you will, on how crypto markets run differently than Wall Street, right? They want to basically design rules that actually fit in this new world, this new digital world. And last but not least, excuse me, they're bridging traditional finance with digital assets. That means they're making it easier for banks, institutions, governments, funds, venture capitalists, etc. Everyday investors, you, the retail, to be able to operate in both systems with no friction. This is the most important thing out of all of it, is the part of being able to be included. A lot of times we get shut out. We're not able to have access to a lot of these markets. This is where the money is made. Trump is a money guy. So what do you think he's doing? His focus is to become the pro crypto capital of the world because he knows the future of finance is all about inclusion. It's no more that fragmented, segmented way where only the elites, only the billionaires over here can eat. No, cryptocurrency levels that playing field. And this is what I love about it. And I love the fact that he's spearheading this, right? I'm not saying everything that he does is 100% right. I just know that he's a money guy. So he knows anytime that there's an opportunity, he's going to exploit it. And he's loud. He talks about it. So when he talks about it, you should listen because those same opportunities he's spotting are the same opportunities that every single one of us can partake in. All right. Now, why does all this matter for us outside of the obvious of what I just stated? Now, we're going to get regulatory clarity where investors and companies all know finally, right, the rules of the road. That's going to reduce all risk and that's going to bring confidence to this level, unseen ever before. You've got mainstream adoption. I just came across a report earlier today. Adoption right now, global adoption, we're at 6.8% of people in the world, the entire world, being invested in cryptocurrency. 6.8% of the global population being invested. So are you guys early or are you late? Drop me your answers in the chat. I just want to know because people ask this question all the time. Am I early? Am I too late? Nah, this is prime time. Everybody has a divine moment when they're supposed to be exposed to something. You may not be the very first person who comes in and who learns something. You may not be the very last, but everybody has their predetermined moment when they came into crypto. If I ask everybody that I'm looking at across my screen that's on this call right now, everybody's going to have a different timeline. You all didn't come into crypto at the same time. So this is one of those things you have to be conscious of. When you see data that comes out like that, know you're at the right time, at the right place with the right people. All you got to do is lock the fuck in. Excuse my French. This is important. This is the time that matters. All right. So, mainstream adoption. When you have clearer rules, more big institutions and corporations, they're going to feel like, hey, now we're formally safe. We can enter this space. And when they come in, what do they bring? You've seen it. Influence. They set a trend, especially if they're innovating, right? They may make a move and then somebody else who didn't have the knack or didn't have the idea or didn't have the personnel in place to bring those ideas to them, they just monkey see, monkey do. And you got to remember, these banks, they're all a cartel at the end of the day. All of these guys do the same thing, right? So when one player makes a move, the next player does the same thing. BlackRock does something, State Street does the same thing. When State Street does something, somebody else comes right behind them. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever. All of the big five, they follow suit. So this is huge. This is the time where you need to pay attention and lock in. And the reason I'm stressing this is because if you wait until the end, it's going to be too late. You're going to miss out on countless opportunities. That opportunity is going to be one of those things that cost you. And like my man Kurt say, shout out to Big Kurt. If he dies, he dies. So when we was giving people XRP and other crypto projects early in the game, if you ain't execute and you had first movers advantage, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. Now you got to pay a premium. So it pays to pay attention. It pays greater to execute when you listen. All right. Now, Another thing is going to be innovation without fear, excuse me. So every single one of us are builders, right? Every single one of us on this call, we all have value that we can bring to the table. But if everybody is operating out of fear, we don't know what the government can do. We don't know if we're going to be shut down. If this idea gets out immediately, they're just going to crush it, right? We don't know that until now. Now, when you start having frameworks like this, they set the table. They tell all entrepreneurs, all builders, come to the table. Let's build, keep building. You don't have to worry about the government smashing you and suddenly just basically shutting you down. What that leads to is better tools, better exchanges, better resources for everybody, right? More opportunities for each and every one of us, the investors. And then last but not least, you got global positioning. Never forget that crypto is a global phenomenon. This is the biggest thing that people lose sight of. We're here in the United States. So a lot of times you only look at what's happening right now. When you're looking at things just only on your table, you lose foresight of the rest of the world. Dubai is the wealthiest country in the world right now. You know why? Because they're not charging their people taxes. They make it easy across the board for all markets. They were huge when it came to crypto. They were adopting everybody. They were telling everybody, leave the United States, come here, build on this land, bring your offices and your Fortune 500 companies over here, and we're going to rock with you. We're going to build with you. And they already had billions and trillions of dollars just ready on the sidelines just because they're a wealthy country. They're just oil wealthy. That's just how it is. Now, when you start to put those things into perspective, those guys were early in the market. They own the rights to a lot of things, right? They understood the trends ahead of time. That made them so much more valuable. Now, Trump came in, Trump was like, no, this is why I do what I do. This is why my focus is digital assets. And of course, at the end of the day, like we all know that this was orchestrated many, many years ago, right? It's not just all Trump just coming in doing this, right? So I don't want to just, hype him up and keep giving him a ton of flowers. Understand that this thing has been written. He's just the person that's implementing it. And he's a guy that you really can't control like that. So what you have to do is you have to pay attention to his moves, watch what he says. And the more you are fully immersed and present when he speaks, and when a lot of these people that we point out to you guys, when they speak and these regulations happen, they give you foresight. If it becomes real policy and not just headlines, it's going to unlock the next phase of adoption and price growth. The smart move is always to prepare now. Never wait. Not when the mainstream media finally catches up. Not when you keep seeing headlines. It's a bullish signal. But like always, the proof is always going to be in the action, not the talk. So our job here at Skyton Academy is always to keep you guys informed, positioned, and ready to capitalize on these opportunities when they come. This is why I be so hyped and so pressed about deep diving, bringing you guys information like this. This matters. All right. So this is my last thing, and then we're gonna get up out of here. So what I wanted you guys to know today, there was something that came across my ether. Now, it's a partnership with XRP Ledger. It's massive. It's huge. And without over talking this, there was a new partnership that was formed and just announced by a company called Linklogix. This is a publicly traded Chinese fintech powerhouse, right? On the HKEX, I think the number is 9959. And on the XRP Ledger, this is the most trusted enterprise grade blockchain network in the world. This isn't some small pilot, small experiment. This is real world supply chain finance on a global level, backed by one of Asia's biggest fintech innovators, and it's all on chain. This is why information matters. If something is going to the XRP ledger, what would you assume that you would need to have readily available as a bridge asset to allow you guys to be able to facilitate transactions? If it's on the XRP ledger, then you would need what digital asset? I'm gonna read the chat. XRP, XRP, XRP. Okay, I see y'all paying attention. All right, so that wasn't rocket science. Now, what I want you guys to understand is Linklogis, Linklogis, Logix, whatever. I ain't perfect. It officially is deploying the entire global digital supply chain finance platform onto the XRP Ledger mainnet. That means real world trade assets, receivables, invoices, payment obligations, etc. It's all going to be tokenized and settled using blockchain infrastructure. And guess what? It's all being done at scale. Real clients, real money, and real cross border flows. So I did some digging in 2024 by itself. Linklogis or Logix, whatever, they processed RMB of $20.7 billion in cross-border assets across 27 different countries and regions. Now they're actually integrating that momentum into the XRP ledger. So you're going to have fast, transparent, decentralized settlement of tokenized supply chain assets. Tokenization is the next iteration of finance. Your guy, Larry Fink, told you this a multitude of times. You're seeing it happening in real time, early, before the rest of the world even knows. Before I told you guys this, I know some of you are going to say you heard about this, but answer honestly. Who has told you this? Who's broke this down for you? Drop a one in the chat if this is your first time hearing about this partnership. Drop a two in the chat if it's not. I'm just curious. Just as I expected. This didn't make the headlines. This didn't make the front page news. This didn't make Fox News and all the networks. I didn't see this there. I don't even watch TV. I'm so dialed in and so locked into cryptocurrency and what's happening in this world in AI that I can't tell you what's happening right now in the world, which is sad, right? So I still got to be aware and alert. But I'm so fully immersed. I'm chest deep. I ain't waist deep. I'm chest deep in the waters of blockchain and crypto. And I do this because I get excited when I get to bring you guys information like this. So I know Steve does the same thing. Steve just has a knack, right, for information. He can catch it, break it down. He's like a data whisperer, right? Me, I'm a person, I like to read, I like to deep dive. I need the details, I need the intricacies, how things are going to work. That forms a bunch of questions in my mind and my wheels get to turning. Then I get to talk that visionary talk. I get to tell you guys what I see on the horizon. I get to put the plays together to give y'all the alley oops. That's how I made multimillionaires. That's how Steve made multimillionaires. The crow play I gave y'all, I gave you guys 180% play in less than 60 days. So imagine the big dogs who was putting in 500,000 off a crow play. That put in 100,000 and they got 180% gains on something in less than 2 months, in less than 60 days. This is why we do what we do. Now I'm gonna tell you guys why this let me stay focused because I'm getting hyped. And I'm gonna get y'all up out of here. So this partnership basically validates the XRP ledger as a global grade blockchain built for enterprise utility, not hype, right? This is not speculation in any way. Most people still associate XRP, the digital asset, with cross-border payments, which is cool. It kind of is the king of cross-border payments, if you will. Now, this move proves the broader real-world asset potential that exists, and it puts everything directly in competition with Stellar, Ethereum, and even TradFi rails like Swift and Visa's B2B Connect. This is where it gets deeper. Linklogis isn't just testing the waters. These guys have been preparing for this moment for multiple years. Back in 2020, they co-founded it's this thing called Green Link Digital Bank after they secured a digital banking license in Singapore. Then in 2023, they helped issue the first ever trade asset backed security token with Standard Charter as a project, as part of Project Guardian, right? This is 1% talk. I don't want to get into it, but Project Guardian overall is just a major tokenization sandbox that was led by the Monetary Authority over in Singapore. So huge, huge play. That was 2023, just 2 years ago. Then they partnered with the BIS, that's the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub, and a bunch of other institutions like RD Technologies and Simons and Simons is what it's called. And y'all can do your research on that. In 2024, just last year, they co-founded SuperFi Labs. This is a DeFi R&D, research and development, innovative, bridging RWA products, right? On the asset side and DeFi liquidity on the capital side. So basically what they did was, in short, right? They built a bridge and now they're walking on a bridge and it's on the XRP ledger. So global vision right now is starting to come to life. What they're doing is they're literally winning over players outside of the United States. Ripple was doing something that most crypto companies and projects basically struggle to accomplish. They're building actual utility at an institutional level. These type of collaborations and partnerships, they prove three things. The XRP ledger is enterprise ready. So not just for payments, but full scale tokenized economies. So understand there's going to be a lot more talk about companies who form partnerships and move and create rails on the XRP ledger. You hear me say it right now, and you can hold me to it. Timestamp, August 27th, 2025, 8:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Champ said it. Global momentum is accelerating. Now, in the past, when the lawsuit was going on, they said 80% of Ripple's customers were outside of the United States. So when I hear news like this is a no-brainer. It only validates what they've already told us. And then when you have momentum accelerating, especially in Asia, this is going to allow innovation to thrive. That's a big market, right? Asia is huge and they got a lot of capital. Now, the new capital that's going to enter into this ecosystem from supply chain finance, DeFi, tokenized trade finance, etc., this ain't speculation. This is blockchain being used to solve real business problems that exist. It's going to open the door for XRP to be used as a liquidity layer, a settlement asset, a bridge currency, etc. in all future plays. So I'm gonna answer this one question: why retail investors should pay attention to these type of moves? And here's the truth: most retail investors, they miss the big wave because they focus on short-term noise instead of deep structural change, right? Big plays, big innovation that happens. If you don't understand something, you ask the questions, you research, right? You bring information to the table and then we break it down. That's the power of community. This is why we talk about it, right? This Linklogis and XRP Ledger partnership, this is a clear signal that the next bull run won't just be driven by speculation, by meme coins, by nonsense. It's going to be driven by tokenization, real world assets, real utility, and global integration, interoperability with various blockchains. You're going to have a ton of infrastructure projects that you guys need to basically position, like how you guys can position yourself. You have to study RWA infrastructure. It's the biggest thing. He told you what was about to happen. So the biggest thing that you guys need to actually do, projects, HBAR, XRP, Ondo, Polygon, Avalanche, etc. These guys are building the plumbing for the tokenized economy. You got to watch countries, right? Big geopolitical players. You got Asia. The biggest leap in blockchain adoption, it's all coming from Hong Kong, Singapore, China, etc., not just the United States. Then you got to start following the banks. We give you guys breakdowns, Standard Charter, the BIS, the Monetary Policy of the Monetary Authority of Singapore. When all these guys are involved, you're witnessing future policy aligned adoption. This is how you position yourself early. And then just keep following, expanding utility with a bunch of projects, right? You're going to see a bunch of information come out. Sometimes it's FUD. Sometimes it's just, it's just another day in crypto, right? So I don't want you guys to get so immersed to where you take everything to heart, right? Just be aware. Pay attention to these big companies, especially companies like Ripple. They're innovating. These guys are basically showing you that every single thing that they touch is about integration and it's about regulating financial flows. That's the money playing out in real time through real adoption. So this isn't just a partnership. This is a signal of convergence, if you will, between basically blockchain, AI, digital banks, and global trade finance. These guys are exploring stable coins, smart contracts, based real world asset trading, and even AI blockchain convergence for trade finance analytics. You need oracles, you need projects that can tell you real-time data that's accurate, that you can trust. So when you see things like smart contracts and real world asset trading, who do you think are going to be the players that you can invest in early, right now, before the rest of the 93% of the world catches up to? By that time, they're paying hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for these projects because the shit is going to hit the fan and these projects are going to explode. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you guys how I see it. I called a lot of things when, especially XRP, that was my first digital asset investment that I ever got into, right? Back in 2015, I was in Bagram, Afghanistan. I came across a complete stranger. I just seen him, we was on our platform. I'm deployed at the time. I see him coming down the stairs. We cross paths, and I just start talking to him randomly. I don't know what it was. It was like one of those gravitational things where you just see somebody and you feel like you have to say something. I spoke to him. 5 minute conversation. He tells me, "Yo, I'm invested in crypto. I'm da 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 da." He does fiber optics on our platform, and he's just a smart black brother, right? So I get to discussing crypto with him. I start making my very first investment. This was January 1st of 2015, and I looked at him and I said, "You've been in this joint for years?" He said, "Bro, I've been here since the beginning, 2009, 2010." So imagine the information that he had to be able to tell me in real time what he seen. So it didn't take rocket science for me to see where I was at in that moment in 2015 to where everything would go to by 2025, where we are right now, by 2030, by 2050. I knew that these guys were going to come in here. They were going to adopt this technology. They were going to bring trillions of dollars with them. They were going to stake their claim. They were going to create partnerships with these same cryptocurrency projects that were 1 penny, less than a penny, 5 cent. When I was telling people about XRP, it was 5 cent. It was 3 cent. It's $3 and some change right now. Do you understand the amount of gains that people missed out just because they weren't paying attention? They weren't conscious. They weren't listening to what I was saying. And people use the same excuse all the time. Oh, it sounds like Spanish. Oh, it feels like Japanese. So learn it. It's people who learn how to shave their face with a straight razor. You learn it. Yeah, you're gonna take a couple nicks. You're gonna cut your skin, but you're gonna get nice with it. And once you get nice with it, you just eliminated having to go into a barbershop. You can trim yourself up whenever you want to. You wanted to learn a new language, you learned it. You wanted to learn how to trade, you learned it. You aligned yourself with people who could teach you something. You took the information and then you acted on it. If you in these comments right now, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're here live with us on Zoom in this room, if we made you money off information that we gave you, drop a one in the chat. And I see all ones right now, and they coming in hot and fast. If you got with Skyton Academy because you love the information that we put out and you was feeling the vibe, the energy that we brought, we were men of honor, men of principle, right? And you say, yo, these guys is it. These guys are the truth. Let me align myself with them because I see what they're doing. I see that they have care and regard for the people. Drop a two in the chat if you got with Skyton Academy because of that. Wild twos. And even when I was playing the background and you guys weren't really hearing me talk that much, Wasn't because I was scared to talk. I'm a people person. I could do this all day in my sleep. This is breathing to me. I fell back because Steve was spearheading stuff. Steve had he had a different fire in the moment, right? He was talking to the people. He made people believe in the information, but it wasn't to coerce you guys. It was to show you and educate you guys. We see it early, right? We see these things way far ahead. So when the information comes out and people are able to kind of take hold of it, there's benefit to it, there's value to it, there's energy and love behind it. This is why we do what we do. I am not ever looking back at all the people who passed over the gems that I gave, the alley oops that I gave, because the people who actually executed, they literally are multimillionaires. These people took their own hard earned capital, they listened to the information, they then took a knack to it, right? And they applied that pressure. And it proved to be right, even through all the noise, even through all the chaos in cryptocurrency, even through the war, even through choke point 2.0, all these things. One thing I realize is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And when it comes to this information, retail always finds out last. But you don't have to. This is why you guys are here with us. You're learning, you get in position in real utility plays, you staying tapped into these platforms, right? We connect these dots every single Wednesday before the rest of the world gets to them and can, make light of the picture. So I think I'm gonna call this one clarity is the new currency. I like that. Clarity is the new currency. Execution is the real flex. The people winning right now, they aren't always the smartest. They're just the most plugged in, the most tapped in, the most decisive. Because when these signals show up, they don't hesitate. Shit moves. So I want you guys to ask yourself tonight, if you never asked yourself this before, are you still watching from the sidelines or are you in position when opportunity knocks? Everybody at Skyton Academy, we ain't waiting for permission. We see the shifts, we decode the data, and we act while the rest of the world is sleeping. So if you're not tapped in yet, the door is open, but I don't know how much longer. SkytonAcademy.com. Enroll today. It's $50 a month. It's cheaper than a steak dinner. I'm going to leave it at that. That's my mic drop moment. This is Connect Wednesdays, episode 107. I'm Champ Bobbitt, and I'm going to tell y'all this. Stay dangerous, stay alert, stay fully immersed, keep your crypto cold, keep your movement strategic, and stop playing games with your future. It's go time. We'll see you guys, Connect 108 next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? Love y'all. Champ out. YouTube, love y'all over there. I couldn't really see everything that's going on over there. Love y'all. But we out. The chat, I see y'all super active.